So this is Jacob with JL Acres. Wanted to give an update on our little cover crop plot that we have going on here. This was planted around the beginning of August, and so we're close to the end of September. I wanted to get this video mostly because we have some cold coming up in about a week in the forecast. I don't know if we're going to frost or not, but I wanted to give an update here of what this stuff looks like planted beginning of August. And if we get a frost, I'll do another update kind of to show what survived a frost or freeze and how things look going into some colder weather here. So just to review, we'll start over here. This was all mixed together and planted out in this space. That has a few weeks head start until I got around to planting this. So if you're looking at planting a summer cover crop mix and you know you're not going to get it in the beginning or middle of July and it's going to be a little bit later, you could look at this and kind of see if you plant in August what's going to grow better than maybe other things. This also, through most of its growing in August, had very little rain, and then middle of September, beginning of September, we got about 7 inches of rain slowly over a week, and then since then, the last week or two, we haven't had any rain. So here we've got the sun hemp growing here. So that's going to fix some nitrogen. Next to the sun hemp, we've got some sorghum Sudan grass. Those two are growing very well for when they were planted, as are the cowpeas. The cowpeas are planted right here. They're going to also fix some nitrogen. And next to them is the phacelia. This, and the little bit earlier one, has already put on some flowers. And I don't know if these are going to have a chance to bloom or not. But that's the phacelia, kind of a novelty thing. And the sunflowers we have here, these sunflowers planted a little bit later are just barely on the edge of wanting to bloom. And we've got some, I believe it's crimson clover planted. That's come along very nicely here. And then next to that is our yellow sweet clover, also coming in very nicely. We've got the German millet, I believe is what this is here. Okay, so not as much growth as the sorghum Sudan grass. And then we've got turnips next to that. Kind of interesting here, the turnips on this end were seeded very heavy, and that seems to be suppressing their growth. Back on this end, they were, I think, seeded just a little bit not as thick, and they've got a lot better growth, which makes sense since they like to put a root down. If there's lots of root competition, they'll suffer. But the radishes here, these tillage radishes, are doing pretty good. Lots of good leaf here at least. And there may be a little bit of a root started there. We've got next to them, this is the safflower, planted for a good penetrating tap root in there, and also drought hardiness. And then the peas here have done surprisingly well considering how little rain they've gotten. Germination rate, just broadcast and raking in, was sparse, but what did come, I've actually been kind of surprised with. And then we've got the Proso millet, and the Proso millet has already shot a seed head, and we also have a caterpillar of some kind there, or slug, or pupa, might be a pupa of some kind of creature. But you can see this Proso millet is very short. I mean, that's not even a foot tall. So looking at a mix seeded in August, I'm not sure if I would advise Proso millet just because it has not grown very much. So that's kind of the seeding beginning of August, what it looks like here at the end of September. I'm expecting, if we get much of a freeze, which it's 50-50 chance at this point in another week, it's probably going to be the end of, for sure, the cowpeas and the sorghum Sudan and the sun hemp. Those don't take freezes very well. Some of these others might keep going a little bit more. So it'll be interesting if we get a bit of a freeze, what survives and what dies back. And then if we get a warm up how the things that got froze a little bit, how long they keep going. So it'll just be interesting to see. Over here in the other mix planted a few weeks earlier, things are really growing wild. We've got the oats here are heading out. We've got lots of cowpeas, and we've got some good radishes growing there. Turnips are mixed in. The peas are flowering here. We've got lots of bees out here. I'm gonna see, there was some Phacelia blooming at one point. This one has some buds on it. In another video, I'll do a little shot of the grazing and some of the things that we have going on at the other end, where we've got some calves grazing and kind of the number they're doing, how we're making that all work out. Here's the Phacelia that's blooming. Oops, if it'll go into focus there. Come out from this angle here. So that's Phacelia. Supposed to be a good pollinator plant. Be some good late season nectar. We do have some radishes that decided they wanted to go to seed. Not very many though, just one every so often. So that's our cover crop mix update from the end of September.